God's kingdom.
O Jehovah of armies, happy is the man that is trusting in you. Have I not learned this lesson the hard way? Oh, excuse me. I was lost in thought. You probably wonder who I am and what I'm doing here. My name is Elkanah. I was born some 50 years ago in Egypt, the son of slaves, and later a slave myself. I'm one of the 3 sons of Korah. Our father was a privileged Levite, an assistant to the priests. In fact, he was a first cousin of Moses. Some time ago, our nation witnessed the most wonderful thing you could ever imagine. Liberation from Egypt by the hand of Jehovah. Freedom. Passage through the Red Sea. Jehovah used Moses in a mighty way to bring us that far. Just after the Exodus, Jehovah spoke to us through Moses, saying, "If you will strictly obey my voice and will indeed keep my covenant, then you will certainly become my special property out of all other peoples." We had no difficulty in answering unanimously, "All that Jehovah has spoken, we are willing to do." Little did we know then that real challenges were awaiting us during our wilderness trek. My family is just recovering from a great tragedy. It tested our loyalty to Jehovah, our respect for His authority, and our attitude toward His appointed men. It also forced me and my 2 brothers to take a stand. Would we let our loyalty to our family and friends take precedence over our loyalty to Jehovah? But please excuse me for getting ahead of myself. I'd like you to see for yourselves certain recent events, and you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Asher, Abiasaph, Elkanah, I cannot believe you! You should at least try to understand why your father Korah opposes Moses. The people are fed up with Moses' authority. Haven't you noticed all the murmuring and complaining lately? Don't you see that Moses and his clan exceed their authority over Jehovah's people? Don't you?
Amzai, I don't like the way you speak. You're a Levite, like us, our cousin. You know that Jehovah appointed Moses and Aaron, and that Moses is actually Jehovah's choice to lead our nation to the promised land.
But Elkanah, as Korah, my uncle, has repeatedly stressed, the whole assembly are all of them holy. Why should Moses and Aaron lift themselves up above the congregation of Jehovah? Has not Korah himself worshipped Jehovah for many years, even under the hardship of slavery in Egypt?
And he was privileged to witness the miraculous deliverance of our nation through the Red Sea by the hand of Moses. Our father Korah even lifted up his voice in song, praising Jehovah for having destroyed the Egyptian pursuers in the very same sea.
And don't forget that your father proved his loyalty to Jehovah when he shared in executing God's judgment against the calf-worshipping Israelites at Mount Sinai.
I still remember how our father, along with the rest, in obedience to Jehovah, passed through the camp of Israel and killed 3,000 idolaters with the sword. But now...
That's exactly my point. Would you call such a tested and true Levite a rebel? A person disloyal to Jehovah? Korah is only trying to be balanced, reasonable.
I have to disagree with you, Amzai. Everybody who knows Moses will agree that he is by far the meekest of all men.
And we have seen how Moses always asks for Jehovah's direction, and then just obediently follows through.
So, Amzai, whose will is actually carried out? That of Moses or that of Jehovah?
Supposedly Jehovah's will.
That is the real issue. In the first place, it was Jehovah who appointed Moses in order to glorify his own holy name before Pharaoh and to lead us away from slavery in Egypt to freedom in the Promised Land.
We all know that Moses was reluctant at first when Jehovah asked him to speak to Pharaoh.
That's true. If I remember correctly, Moses said that he wasn't a fluent speaker, that he was slow of mouth and slow of tongue.
He even asked Jehovah if someone else could be used to save our people. It was then that Jehovah appointed his brother Aaron as a mouth to Moses.
Is it not clear then, Amzai, that neither Moses nor Aaron have arbitrarily lifted themselves up above the congregation? If anyone objects to their authority, even someone who in the past has been faithful and loyal, whose authority do you think he is actually challenging?
Well, I know I have to say Jehovah's authority. However, in my eyes, Moses' leadership is a failure. Why aren't we in the promised land yet? And would you claim that Moses and Aaron are always right? Don't they make mistakes?
Of course they do. They're imperfect men, just like the rest of us. Jehovah surely is more aware of their mistakes than we are.
Like when Moses got married to that Cushite woman. It's a disgrace that we're led by a man whose wife is not even a daughter of Abraham.
Yes, but Zipporah worships Jehovah the same as we do. And remember what happened when Miriam and Aaron began to speak against Moses on account of his wife.
Yes, but don't you think that it was reasonable for them to ask if it was just by Moses alone that Jehovah had spoken? Was it not by Miriam and Aaron also that he had spoken?
Jehovah was listening, Amzai, and he immediately made known his view of matters. God said about Moses, "He is being entrusted with all my house. Mouth to mouth I speak to him." Then Jehovah pointedly asked Miriam and Aaron, "Why then did you not fear to speak against my servant, against Moses?"
And for her rebellion, Miriam was struck with leprosy for 7 days. Remember, we couldn't pull away until she recovered and was able to come back into the camp.
Aaron had to admit that turning against Jehovah's appointed one was a sin, a foolish act. He learned a very important lesson. I wish our father would learn the same lesson.
Anyway, that was in the past. There is something about you three that I don't understand. How can you side with Moses against your own father who gave you life? The law specifically says that you should honor your father. I would expect you to be loyal and support your father, at least out of respect for him.
Amzai, make no mistake about it. This is not easy for us. We love our father, but we are not blind.
And it's heartrending to see him follow a stubborn course of opposition to Jehovah.
But it is not just a question of taking sides with mere men, be it our father, or Moses, or Aaron. We simply want to remain faithful to the one who appointed Moses, Jehovah. So the whole matter boils down to, how can I put it, to
loyalty. Loyalty to our father and family, or loyalty to Jehovah. It grieves us to see our father being swayed by what appears to be wrong motives.
Wrong motives? Here's something new. What do you mean, Elkanah?
Of course, I cannot read my father's heart, and in no way would I want to show disrespect for him. But lately he seems to enjoy all the attention that Dathan and Abiram and On pay to him. I wonder
Evidently, he is not content with the place our family has in God's arrangement. It's not a small thing to be teachers of Jehovah's law.
And to carry the furniture and utensils of the tabernacle.
Sadly, though, it seems that our father no longer finds satisfaction in serving as an assistant to Aaron and his priestly sons.
What about Dathan, Abiram, and On, who are distinguished leaders of the Reubenites, and those 250 other chieftains, men of fame? They all seem to agree with Korah.
Again, Hamzai, you have to think about their possible motives. Could it be that since Reuben was the firstborn of our forefather Jacob, some of these descendants of Reubens may resent Moses exercising authority over them?
And don't forget that our family camps near the Reubenites. There seems to be considerable interchange of thought between our father and certain prominent men of Reuben. I'm very much afraid that things will soon get out of hand.
Why do you have to be so narrow-minded? Maybe it's time for a change. Change is good. I wonder what you are going to do when it comes to a showdown.
As far as I'm concerned, Amzai, I cherish the honor that's been given to our family, serving Jehovah faithfully according to his arrangement.
I feel the same, cousin. A day in Jehovah's courtyards is better than 1,000 elsewhere. We have chosen to stand at the threshold in the house of our God rather than to move about in the tents of wickedness.
May you have peace, my brothers.
Peace to you also, Korah. You came just in time. We were discussing your courage and how you fearlessly resist Moses on a number of issues.
This is the kind of leadership we need. Men like you, who are not intimidated by Moses and his clan.
I have to agree with my brothers. The people are ready for a change.
My brothers, you are right.
It's time to act. What happened to leadership in our nation? I don't believe that Moses enjoys the confidence of the people anymore. Look how often the people have to resort to complaining.
And then, when you think of the appointment of his brother Aaron as high priest.
The next high priest will be half my age. Moses did not even deem me worthy to be the head of our family, the Kohathites. He appointed Elizaphan, a man younger than me.
Is it just by Moses alone that Jehovah speaks?
Why has Moses not brought us to the promised land?
Moses obviously delays in bringing us into the land God has promised us. Yet, he says that it's because of the people that God is displeased with us.
How can we be sure that Jehovah does indeed speak through Moses?
What blessings have we received?
Jehovah not use Korah too?
Jehovah's not blessing us, and it's we need a new leader.
Another older man.
Sadly, it seemed that my father, Korah, and his associates had decided to question the authority of the ones whom Jehovah had appointed, Moses and Aaron. A new situation would soon afford them opportunity to express their feelings openly. Jehovah directed Moses to send men to spy out the land of Canaan. After 40 days they returned and reported, "We entered into the land to which you sent us out. Nevertheless, we are not able to go up against the people, because they are stronger than we are." And they kept on bringing forth to the sons of Israel a bad report. Then all the assembly raised their voice, and the people continued giving vent to their voice and weeping all through that night. And all the sons of Israel began to murmur against Moses and Aaron.
Why didn't we die in the land of Egypt?
It's better than to die in this wilderness.
Our wives and our little ones will become plunder.
God is not pleased with us.
Let us appoint a head, and let us return to Egypt.
Let us appoint a head and return to Egypt. Why should we die out
We
here?
had food, water, and homes in Egypt.
The land that we passed through to spy out is a very, very good land. A land that is flowing with milk and honey.
Only against Jehovah do not rebel. And you, do not you fear the people of the land? For they are bread to us.
Bread to us? They slaughter us all.
Joshua and Caleb speak these lies to get favor
Our
from
husbands
Moses.
and sons will not go up.
These men would lead you to your death. Do not listen to them.
These men deserve to die.
You dreamers will get us all
Where
killed.
is this milk and
Put them to
honey?
death. Let's go back to Egypt.
Be of good courage, my brothers. Do not condemn God as having told you lies.
Trust in Jehovah to help us, and follow those whom he has appointed to be our leaders, even Moses and Aaron.
We will not listen to you, Joshua and Caleb.
Put these dreamers to death.
We will not.
Let's hear what Moses has to say.
Here comes Moses.
What do you have to say about this, Moses?
My brothers, hear this word of Jehovah. All the while Jehovah has heard your voice, and he has become indignant, and he says, "How long will this evil assembly have this murmuring that they are carrying on against me? I have heard the murmurings of the sons of Israel, that they are murmuring against me. As I live, is the utterance of Jehovah, if I shall not do to you just that way, as you have spoken in my ears, in this wilderness your carcasses will fall. Yes, all your registered ones, of all your number, from 20 years old upward, you who have murmured against me. Not one among these men of this evil generation will see the good land that I swore to give to your fathers, except Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, and Joshua, the son of Nun. As for your little ones, of whom you said, plunder they will become, and your sons who today do not know good or bad, these will go in there, and to them I shall give it, and they will take possession of it, whereas the carcasses of you yourselves will fall in this wilderness.
Entreat Jehovah for us, Moses, that we might be reconciled to him, and that he might permit us to wander no longer in the wilderness, but bestow cities upon us.
We shall go up and fight in accord with all that Jehovah our God has commanded us. Be courageous, men, for we shall go up against the Canaanites. Tomorrow we shall go up. Gather yourselves together, men.
Let's go back to Egypt.
Take the lead, Korah.
Why stay here in the wilderness? Let Korah
Let us go up in battle.
No, my brothers. Jehovah said to me, say to them, you must not go up and fight, because I am not in your midst, that you may not be defeated before your enemies.
Gird on your swords, men. Do not listen to Moses. We will go up against the land, just as Jehovah directed us when he brought us to the borders of Canaan.
Why is it that you are overstepping the order of Jehovah? You will not succeed. Do not go up, because Jehovah is not in your midst, that you may not be defeated before your enemies. For the Amalekites and the Canaanites are there before you, and you are certain to fall by the sword, because, for the reason that you turned back from following Jehovah, Jehovah will not continue with you.
Please, Jehovah, help
We're
us.
not staying in this wilderness to
He
die!
will help us.
However, they presumed to go up to the top of the mountain. But the ark of Jehovah's covenant and Moses did not move away from the midst of the camp. Then the Amalekites and the Canaanites who were dwelling in that mountain came on down and began striking them and went scattering them as far as Hormah. How far my father and the rest had drawn away from the true God. Although they were making great professions of faith in Jehovah, their murmuring and fault-finding with Jehovah's appointed servants would eventually bring them into open opposition to Jehovah. As you can imagine, our family went through a lot of agony because of my father's course. Some insisted that we had to follow him. After all, he was our own father. Our loyalty was on the line. Soon we would be severely tested.
Our defeat should not in any way be taken as evidence that Jehovah is opposed to us.
It's because of Moses that we've suffered this defeat.
How can you say that, Dathan?
Korah said, it is because we have permitted Moses to continue to impose himself and his own will upon the people.
Had you listened to Jehovah's express warning through Moses, you wouldn't have gone up against the Canaanites. You wouldn't have suffered defeat.
It's to our advantage to be our own master and to take to ourselves a new leader.
Appoint a new leader.
Moses has gone too far.
Moses isn't fit to lead the people. Now that we are rejoicing in our deliverance from the indignities we endured under the Egyptians, why should we bear the tyranny of Moses over us?
And allow ourselves to be so deluded by him?
Is this a viewpoint that you men share with my father, Korah?
Everyone knows that we live and move and act according to Moses' pleasure.
Moses would have us believe that God foretells what concerns us only out of kindness to Moses.
As if we are not all the children of Abraham.
And that God has made Moses alone the author of all the knowledge that we have, and that we must still learn it from him.
It is a very sad thing, my brothers, that we have not acted before this. but have allowed Moses to seek glory for himself.
Amzai, could I speak with you for a moment, please?
As you say, cousin.
Amzai is right. Yes, we have followed Moses too long.
We must act quickly.
Amzai, why do you keep speaking so bitterly against Moses?
It's because I'm no longer deceived by his persuasive words. It's his clever speech that has made it possible for him to obtain his authority, under the pretense that he's following God's command. And now, Abiasaph, he's given the priesthood to Aaron.
How can you speak this way, Amzai? We both have the great privilege of being set apart.
True, Abiasaph, but why his own brother, Aaron? It only gives cause for suspicion on the part of the older men. Are there not others among the Levites who are as well qualified as Aaron?
Would you promote Korah to this office?
Indeed, Abiasaph, and why not? Is not Korah equal to Moses himself?
I hate to say it, but it's obvious that my father is interested only in his own advancement.
Would you sit in judgment of your father, an older man?
Amzai, come, please. Why should we quarrel between ourselves? Is it not a time for us?
It is a time for us to act, and to act quickly, before we suffer another defeat as our valiant men did.
Oh, my cousin.
May you have peace, Korah.
And peace to you too, my brother.
Uncle, it's good to see you.
Good day, Korah.
Our brother Korah will...
Our brothers are growing restless, Korah. The defeat they've suffered at the hands of the Amalekites and the Canaanites has caused them to weep before Jehovah. But on account of Moses, Jehovah will not listen to their voice.
Moses makes a show of goodness and of compliance with Jehovah's will. He uses persuasion rather than force, and by his secret cunning, he has grown wickedly powerful. And he has exalted Aaron, his brother, in this same way.
Truly spoken.
Now it is proper for the people to punish such men, even while they think their wicked designs are concealed from us.
They should be punished.
Do not permit them to gain strength until there is nothing more left for them to do. You sons of Levi, hear me now. Is Moses able to give us any just cause as to why he has bestowed the priesthood on Aaron and his sons?
No, he cannot.
If God has determined to bestow that honor on one of the tribe of Levi, am I not also of the tribe?
A prince of Levi.
Though I would not take upon myself the dignity of this high office, unless it was urged upon me by the people.
Korah deserves the position.
Let someone else from the tribe of Levi take
Let
Moses'
Korah
place.
lead us to the promised land.
Take the lead, Korah.
On the other hand, if God determined to bestow this honor on the tribe of the firstborn, then someone from Reuben might have it justly, and Dathan and Abiram would have it, for they are the oldest men of the tribe of Reuben, and men of fame on account of their great wealth.
Dathan and Abiram have the position.
Anyone but Moses. Korah is of the tribe of Levi. Let Korah have it.
There's Moses.
That is enough of you, Moses and Aaron, because the whole assembly are all of them holy, and Jehovah is in their midst. Why then should you lift yourselves up above the congregation of Jehovah?
O Korah, both you and all those with you, these 250 men of the sons of Israel, are chieftains of the assembly, summoned ones of the meeting, men of fame. But in the morning Jehovah will make known who belongs to him, and who is holy, and who must come near to him. And whoever he may choose will come near to him. Do this. Take fire holders for yourselves, you, Korah, and your entire assembly, and put fire in them, and place incense upon them before Jehovah tomorrow. And it must occur that the man whom Jehovah will choose, he is the Holy One.
It is well. It is well.
Joshua.
Here I am, my lord.
Dathan and Abiram are not presently with this assembly. Go and ask them, please, to come up also, that they may hear the word of Jehovah.
As you say, my lord.
Listen, please, you sons of Levi. Is it such a little thing for you men that the God of Israel has separated you from the assembly of Israel, to present you to himself to carry on the service of Jehovah's tabernacle, and to stand before the assembly to minister to them, and that he should bring you and all your brothers, the sons of Levi, with you near? So must you men also try to secure the priesthood? For that reason, you and all your assembly who are gathering together are against Jehovah. As for Aaron, what is he that you men should murmur against him?
Dathan and Abiram are just as qualified as Aaron.
Aaron only has the priesthood because he's your brother.
What I wouldn't give for some spices and herbs, like what we
Where
had
are
in
our houses
Egypt.
and our vineyards?
You are alone, Joshua. Have Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, come up?
No, my lord. Here is the word of Dathan and Abiram. We are not going to come up. Is it so little a thing that you have brought us up out of a land flowing with milk and honey to put us to death in the wilderness, that you should also try to play the prince over us to the limit? As it is, you have not brought us into any land flowing with milk and honey, that you may give us an inheritance of field and vineyard. Is it the eyes of those men that you want to bore out? So they said, we are not going to come up.
O Jehovah, do not turn to look at their grain offering. Not one male ass have I taken away from them, nor have I harmed one of them. Korah, you and all your assembly, be present before Jehovah, you and they and Aaron, tomorrow. And take each one his fire holder, and you men must put incense upon them, and present each one his fire holder before Jehovah. 250 fire holders, and you and Aaron each his fire holder. And it must occur that the man whom Jehovah will choose, he is the Holy One.
Let Jehovah choose.
That is enough of you, you sons of Levi.
Yes, Moses, let Jehovah choose.
It pleases my heart greatly, Amzai, to see that you have not joined with Korah. You didn't present yourself before Jehovah at the entrance of the tent of meeting.
I would not present myself as a candidate for the priesthood. Nevertheless, I do not oppose Korah and his assembly of 250 men for their right to do so.
They are awaiting a sign from Jehovah. Moses has not revealed to us what it will be. But I fear that Korah's act of presumptuousness will not go unpunished. Now, Moses will present himself before the tents of Dathan and Abiram, that they too might hear the word of Jehovah.
I will also hear what it is that Moses will say to them. I, for my part, do not deny Dathan and Abiram the right to do what they have done.
But Amzai, they have denied the word of God spoken by Moses.
Does Jehovah speak only by Moses? Are we not also a part of Israel? How do you know that Jehovah does not also speak through Korah and Dathan and Abiram? They're older men too. They came with us out of Egypt. Is not Moses a man just like us?
It would seem, Amzai, that Jehovah is preparing to answer those questions himself. You did not stand up with Korah, but how will you stand when Dathan and Abiram are called to account?
Please, Amzai, beware of the rebellious talk of Dathan and Abiram.
Come, here are the tents of the sons of Eliab.
What is it that you would say to us, Moses?
Have you come here to play the prince over us?
Turn aside, please, from before the tents of these wicked men, Korah and Dathan and Abiram, and do not touch anything that belongs to them. that you may not be swept away in all their sin.
We'll see who gets swept away.
Go, you weak man.
Nothing to worry about.
Aser, Elkanah, and Abiasaph. Have you also been taken in by Moses' fear-inspiring threats?
You sons of Korah claim to keep the law. Does not the law say, honor your father?
Yes, you sons of Korah.
Why are you not with your father now?
That's the 5th of the 10 words, Abiram.
The first 3 demand exclusive devotion to Jehovah.
Jehovah himself is still in the midst of Israel. Separate yourselves while there is time.
By this you will know that Jehovah has sent me to do all these deeds, that it is not of my own heart. If it is according to the death of all mankind that these people will die, and with the punishment of all mankind that punishment will be brought upon them, then it is not Jehovah that has sent me. But if it is something created that Jehovah will create, and the ground has to open its mouth and swallow them up and everything that belongs to them,
Amzai, please!
and they have to go down alive into Sheol, you will then know for certain that these men have treated Jehovah disrespectfully.
Listen.
What is it?
It's an earthquake.
Look! Fire from God at the door of the tabernacle.
The judgment of Korah.
Too bad for them. How tragic. So down they went, and all who belonged to them, alive into Sheol. And the earth went covering them over, so that they perished from the midst of the congregation. And a fire came out from Jehovah and proceeded to consume my father, Korah, and the 250 men offering the incense. These perished in the rebellious talk of Korah. Understandably, my family has been greatly affected by these recent events. The same is true of several other families of my fellow Israelites. But I don't want to let inappropriate sorrow obscure the real issues here. Korah, my father, and his accomplices actually rebelled against Jehovah's authority. Their envy, pride, and ambition led them to acts of presumptuousness, and in the end, they brought dishonor upon themselves. My father sought glory for himself, but his glory was short-lived. How glad I am that my brothers and I took the right side of the issue. How could I possibly forget the lessons that I learned from these dramatic events? Respect for those whom Jehovah has appointed shows respect for Jehovah's authority. Also, we should not let friendships or family relationships take priority over our relationship with Jehovah and our obedience to Him. Successful direction for us ultimately comes from Jehovah, and we should put implicit trust in His choices of appointed ones. This shows that we have deep respect for His authority. Jehovah's expressions of loving kindness I will sing about, even to time indefinite. For generation after generation, I shall make your faithfulness known with my mouth.